Hey video game fans, this is Matt. I'm going to do something new today, or part two of something new. About 2.5 weeks ago, I recorded a video where I went through my settlements in Fallout 4 to show their progress at the beginning level because I haven't really done a whole lot with them at that time. And I knew I was planning on it. And I recorded this big, long, it was a big, I don't know, it was probably almost an hour long video. And then I posted it. And today I went and checked out, I was going to check out my last video and review it and go through it because I was going to do an update. And I watched the video, and the video turned out, it recorded fine. It recorded the game, all the places that I went to. It did not record my microphone. So the entire video is mute. So I'm going to make it a second attempt. I haven't advanced most of my bases too much farther than I did at that time. Some of them I have. Some of them I have only just started building them up, and other ones I've done a lot with since then. So this isn't my beginning stage, but it's maybe it's part two, I guess. So I don't know how I'm going to designate it. We'll get to that when I upload it. So what I wanted to do was give myself a kind of a time lapse to see where I've progressed. So in a few more weeks, again, this happened a few weeks ago, I wanted to do a lot of building, build up my settlements, and then look back and see where it was before and where it is now. Well, that's what I'm going to try to do again today. I'm going to go around to the different settlements. Just today, I found out how to do the sending your, I can't remember what it was called, managing your settlers to do like trades between your outposts. I just found out how to do that. This is my first time play of Fallout 4. I have not gotten to the end game. I don't know really where we're going with it yet, but I am enjoying my plays of it. And I just wanted to do mostly a video focusing on my buildings, what I've done so far, and so when I do later videos, I can see how far I've progressed. You're not going to see anything incredibly amazing. These are not the most elaborate setups or the elaborate base builds. The buildings are fairly basic. I'm just learning the game. I spent hours and hours and hours playing the game. What am I? Level 86. So I spent a lot of time grinding and playing the game and doing the side quests and stuff like that. But then I spend what I want on my downtime. I spend building up my bases, and there's a lot of headaches involved with that. And I'm slowly figuring out and looking up online to how to deal with some of that stuff. And let's start off with a little tour of. My brain is not working today. Sanctuary Hills, yes, Sanctuary Hills, which is the first settlement I started building. I have even made changes since the video I made last week, some minor things. But before I get into the tour, I'm going to do a quick inventory. The stupidest thing, and this is part of the problem. I don't know, it's a problem I have, but it's an issue of the game. I've pretty much been using the same weapon set and the same armor set for 50 or 60 levels. I haven't found anything better, so I just keep using the same things over and over. I've added a few weapons, I guess, along that time, and my armor essentially is the same. The only stuff I've changed is I added the Mechanist helmet, as you can see she's wearing now, and I changed my chest piece. The chest armor I was wearing for like 40 or 50 levels. I just changed this to this one. This one because it had the bonus that I wanted. So my armor that I'm currently wearing, the Mechanist helmet wasn't really any better. I was just using a standard combat helmet. It wasn't a legendary helmet. I haven't found any legendary helmets now that I think about it. Maybe there aren't any. Well, this one is, obviously. The charisma and intelligence bonus is fine. It's fine. It's nothing outrageous. The defensive abilities is fine. I just wanted to change it up a little bit because the helmet I was using basically didn't give any special bonus. All it was stats. And this one statistically was better, so I say, well, I'll get this one. It's statistically better, and it gives me the intelligence and charisma bonus. But this equipment, as far as the armor goes, I'm using this for a very specific reason, and I just haven't I haven't found any reason to use anything different. So my right leg, as you see, it increases action point. Basically, I'm using two different bonuses. My primary one is I wanted to do the reflect damage. My right arm, chest piece, and left leg are all legendary armor that I've obviously, altered at the armor bench. But all of them reflect 10% damage, melee damage back to the attacker. Anytime a bug bites me, it dies. Most weaker creatures die. If I shoot something enough times and get up close to it, it's probably going to die when it tries to get close to me. If I could get all the armor to be that, I probably would have it. Like I said, I've been using all three of these pieces probably since I was on the 10th or 11th level, somewhere in there, in the teens, maybe even before that. And the other armor I'm using increases my action point refresh speed. You know, when you're using VOTS in combat, it's kind of useful. But I would replace these in a heartbeat if I could find a legendary piece of armor that does the reflect in those two slots. I just haven't found any yet. And yeah, I'm still using the Vault 11 jumpsuit I came out of the vault with. I've upgraded it, obviously, but it offered good energy and radiation protection. So I haven't really needed anything else. Most of the clothing items that are out there that you can wear armor on don't really protect you much anyway. So I haven't had any problems with radiation. The other thing I've been using is this power armor. I've been using the same power armor for a good 40, 50 levels too. It's an XO2 armor. I've painted it pink. I wanted it pink, but it was also, the pink gives it a strength bonus, and I also did the Tesla bonuses. I have the Tesla alterations on all of it, so it served me well. I know there might be some statistically better armor out there. I've seen some videos where they said this one isn't as good as XYZ or whatever, but fine. But I like this. I like the look of it. It served me well. About the last big change that I made to it is I put jetpack on the torso. And I'm glad I did, because I use that thing a lot, and it does force me. I am burning through fusion cores a lot faster than I used to. And since we're talking about power armor, the next thing I will show is my power armor barn. So I was having some issues. I have all my power armor in here, and I had all the naked ones back here. If I found pieces I want, then I would put them on them and go ahead and put it in. I had a door here. There was a door in front, which I have removed. And then there was a big gate, a sliding door thing, barn door type of thing on this side. But I was coming back from, doing quests and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I was like, I'm missing 2 or 3 of my armor. Where are they at? And I'd find them in random buildings around the place. The settlers would get if they got attacked or whatever, they'd jump into the armor and were out there using them to fight. So I decided I got to keep them out of my armor, because I don't want them. I don't care if they used it, if they put it back, but they don't put it back. They just end up in random places. So I found my own little way of sorry. I just block off the door. So I have display cases for most of it. I've unlocked different paint jobs. Other ones I decided to just paint them to the different versions. Most of these armors I've never worn in combat. The first armor that I found and wore a lot was this one here, and I gave it a custom paint job because I found the flame paint job pretty early. And so I was using this thing from probably somewhere in the sub 10 level, probably level 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. And I wasn't using it very often. I just use it if I knew I was going to go into a heavy combat area. And then I found the XO2 armor, and I haven't used anything since. So none of the rest of these armors have gotten much use. Every once in a while I'll have a follower and I'll have them get into the armor, but I found that that's kind of wasteful too, because it ends up just burning more materials, keeping their armor in good shape. I'm having a hard enough time keeping my own armor in good shape, let alone a whole second set of power armor. I don't want to go through all the different types I have. I mean, I have Raider armor over there, and I've got the Hellfire Enclave armor there, and the Tesla armor there, which I'm still trying to find legs for, and a helmet. But I have 2 arms and a chest for it. Most of these are, there's different types. Anyway, I have a couple of XO1s. And I have this, this one's my Minuteman armor, and so forth and so on. Okay, let's get out of here. I know that there are ways of doing locked doors and electronic doors. I just haven't gotten into it yet, and I haven't wanted to invest the time and energy to mess around with it. Now I'm going to do a quick little tour of my sanctuary hills. Most of the places I've gutted. I've recently found I had a bunch of extra beds, and then I found out that I had like 27 beds, I think, in this community, and that's way more than I needed, since I can only have 10 plus your charisma in followers, and I only recently found out that was the cap. And so I've recently upgraded my charisma. Eventually I'll be able to get 22, I think, in here. But anyway, I have a couple of the ones that came with the Minutemen group basically live in this house. It's not really well furnished. Most of my houses are not well furnished. I usually don't even bother. Yes, I did put in some TVs here and there. I have the whole place wired up with electricity. I'll show you where the power source is for that. Oh, I didn't show that. That was one of the things I was really happy with. I had those display cases in there. The power armor displays, they require a little bit of electricity to light them up. And I was trying to figure out a way to get the power. I know that there's a way you can hook up something to the outside and power the inside, but I had this one of those little power poles, or whatever they're called, and there's a hole in the roof in this one section, so I just popped it out the roof, and bada bing, bada boom. So that's how I got the power in there. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, the whole place this place looks pretty nice at night, because you got the street lights are all lit up too. I replaced the old ones that don't work with ones that do, for the most part. In my last video, I had my big silver steel building here. I ended up having to not use it. I'd had previous problems in the weeks before that. It was empty. I built it just to build it, just to see what I could build with the metal parts. And the only thing I have left is this back wall, because it kind of acts as a wall to the area. It was a big empty building. I had a problem with all of my settlers going to one house and trying to use the 2 pieces of gym equipment. So there'd be like 10 people in this house waiting for a turn to use it. So I said, well, this is stupid. So I put all my weight gear, my weight benches, and the pommel horse, or not pommel horse, yeah, pommel horse, in this building. And then I was having problems with routing. The stupid people wouldn't figure out how to get in the door, so they were like, just kind of rubbing up against the side of the building. They couldn't figure out that I had the door like right here. So I ended up having to close it off. Well, eventually I decided, heck with this, I'm just going to tear it down. I don't know what I'm going to do with this space. I have this is one of 2 empty blocks. I don't have anything built. Again, maybe in the future I'll come up with some idea rather than putting in just a big empty house. The previous tour that I did, I went through the wall. I did my frontage wall, and then I finished up back here, but I think I'm going to do this in reverse this time, since we've already seen the power armor barn and the first house. Here's the other platform. So I have a power generator here that's powering this one gun. The first guns I powered, I didn't have access to the non-power up guns until later. Got another gun over here. Got some of the guns that don't require power up on the hedge there. One of my 2 or 3 dog houses where my dog meat lives. he spends time in different dog houses. A fence, again, I could easily turn this into a yard or something else, but whatever. One guard post here is enough. I have another guard post over here with a trap for this big gap, so I don't. It's too hard to build in some of these spots. And behind this building is the one that has the little bunker in it. Don't have anything here. I don't think I did anything. Yeah, this was the building where they were working out. Imagine this thing having like 12, 15 people just standing, waiting to use these two pieces of equipment. I had like 3 or 4 beds in here. This is one of the places that I got rid of all the beds because I didn't need them. So right now that house is sitting empty. This is the player, the sole survivor or lone survivor or whatever they're called house. I decided not to have people milling around in there, so I just blocked it off the way I did my other one. So it's mostly gutted. I just didn't. Now, how in the heck did those two idiots get in there?
You know what? Since we talked,
Great. So I'm gonna have to. I've never seen anybody in there since I blocked this off, but apparently.
prepared for the future.
Doofuses. Because I had this guy. He's supposed to be working at the store. Great. Get out of here, you idiots. This house is off limits. It was strange. One of my custom robots. The robot machine. This. I got the drugstore. This is basically. I got my barber shop in here. I got the clinic. And we got the surgeon area back here. So that's what all 3 of these are in here. Is basically the medical, and, the barber and medical area. Got my little patio, another pommel horse, big empty room. This is the one I wanted to turn into a bar. I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about putting in like a big bar here, a bunch of tables and chairs, because right now it's just got a couple of bedrooms. That's it. It's not really serving any purpose. I gutted the kitchen early on. I wish I wouldn't have. Some of the stuff that you destroy, you can't get back, and if you don't have the graphics to build them, to replace them. So every time we get attacked, we always have a few people attack us from the back. So I had to come up with some kind of a defensive thing. This is my solution to get around these guard towers. Don't really gel well with slanted ground, so you put a nice little concrete base under it, maybe extend it a little bit, makes it so it's not floating in space. A couple more concrete walls. Otherwise, it's mostly open, but there's a ridge there and a stream. I rely mostly on the hedge over here, the hedge and fence. I fill in the gaps with either fences or I put in the machine gun turrets. If you notice up above, the defense number of this community is ridiculously high. It's a humongous area. It pretty much has to be. So I just put guns all over the place. So wherever we get attacked from, there's not much survival chance. I go back up the street from where we were. But as you can see, I got the street lights and the power things coupled all up. Alright, so this place, got a few beds, a few more beds, another bed. It's one of the few that has more or less a complete bathroom facility with a fancy toilet. Some fencing I probably should get rid of. This one's got the nice little lounge area. Again, it's just a scattering of little bedrooms. Nothing in here, the office or bathroom. Again, I know I'm not doing anything. I'm not showing anything that's really great. I just want to show where I'm at now, so in the future, if I ever do upgrade these places, I want to be able to see how far I've gone. So, I didn't have anything in this big plot, and I decided it was a good place to put my power. So I started off with this large power generator, and I had another one. I had to supplement it next to it with a smaller one, which actually was over here in the platform. At the time, I didn't have the technology. I didn't have I think one of the skills I needed to build the big fusion generator. Now that I had the fusion generator, I don't need any of these over here, but I decided what the heck, I might as well just plop them all in anyway. It's a nice little display of some of the power systems. So I put in the big wind turbine, even though I don't need it either. And next to it, I just put a little, basically an apartment and a workshop, but I haven't put anything in here yet, obviously. And I'll probably end up at some point, probably put some kind of a fencing or wall around this whole facility and turn it, or maybe like a chain link fence. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. Basically, just the engineer, kind of the camp engineer could live there. I don't know. I'll get to my defenses in a bit. This place is basically the shack for the guards. It's like the guardhouse. You place the tables, their recreation time, even though technically the guards in this game don't really ever take a break, but whatever. If they had one, this is where they would do it. It's kind of like their barracks. I have one other building built, a built building over here that is currently empty because I already have 23 beds. I don't even have 20 people yet, so I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I built it. Basically as a way of, I didn't want just a whole fence along the water line, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this space. It's here. It's not a bad building, it's just I don't really have a purpose for it yet. My other dog house is back here. Hi, dog meat. Right here, when I got this I was experimenting with different things. I saw that there was this big scaffolding thing. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. It'd be a nice little bird's eye view of your little town here. And I decided to use it for something. So this is where the recruitment radio beacon is located for the town. Of course, you need the generator for it. This is the only electrical part of my, I think my entire town that isn't connected up on the rest of the power. So they have their own power source. One for the recruitment radio, one for the terminal, which is just, a typewriter turned into a computer, but steampunk style. And then the population management system computer, which I don't use very often, but all of those require one power. That produces 3 power. I just like this little tower. It gives you a nice, bird's eye view of the town, sort of. So we had this big block. This was one of the first things I started building, and I've already had to rebuild it twice, because I didn't like the stupid concrete wasn't lining up straight, and it still didn't line up straight, because the front of this is going to come out right over here, and there's going to be a gap. It's not going to line up. I don't know why it didn't. But anyway, this is where I put all my stores, or most of the stores. So I got the bar with a little lounge area. You notice I got the he's got the chef's hat, and he just kind of looks like he runs a more like a diner than a liquor store or whatever, but whatever, a bar. I got a ghoul in armor running the weapons. I've got my friendly the vault tech guy that sold me my vault, my seat in the vault, if you will. I finally gave him a job running the store. This is the clothing store, and then I have the armor store, where the person working there was working here. For some reason, I'm having a hard time people coming in and doing their armor sales, but she's here somewhere. And behind the main house is pretty much all the gardens. This is all garden area. I took out some of the fencing, not because I didn't like it, but because I kept having the stupid people walking up against it, trying to go to the other side, and it's like, figure it out, go around. Got tired of dealing with that, so I took out half the fences. But anyway, this is just all the different farm stuff for the whole community. I don't have any other farm stuff anywhere else. And then back here is the barbecue area. Then there's my house. So in the main part of the house, your garage area, most of this came stock. You got the armor, you got the weapons, and so forth. I took out some things, replaced it with some stuff. It's basically my power armor pit stop spot. We got Mama Murphy sitting in her chair. That's where I chose to put it. She never leaves. She hasn't left since I got the thing. Just filling up a slot in my community and not doing a dang thing. I got all my magazine racks filled with all the different stuff. I tried to organize them by type and kind of by genre, but it's hard to do because there's so many magazines in this game, but they look really neat in the racks, I must admit. And I got another one over here. My bobblehead collection, I just got 2 more to find. I found all but I think 2 or 3 of them without needing any help. Some of the ones that I needed help on, I had already cleared the places, just completely missed the stupid bobblehead. So then I went, oh my God, I was like, oh, it's right there in front of me. How did I miss that? You know, that kind of thing. A couple of bedroom, just nothing really else in here. So then, as in addition to my power armor problem with the people in the town using power armor, I read or saw a video, somebody had mentioned something online about, okay, before I had a bunch of chests out here. The steamer trunks and the yellow chests, and then I had the suitcases over here, and I had another metal crate over here, and they were filled with all the different weapons and armor that I accumulated, as like my storage. But then I watched a video where somebody had said something about that residents in your town will these aren't safe, that they will like remove things from them and use them like armor and weapons and stuff like that. So now the only stuff that I put in here are like stuff that I'm fine with them taking. And I ended up moving my stuff upstairs. And I had a staircase up there. But then I had a follower going up there and using stuff. So I was like, I don't want anybody sharing my space. So then I created this little ladder. And kind of like what I did with the door over here, I can slide this up here and it'll extend from there right up. But I also can jump over there. So it's not, I really don't need that lower portion anymore. But if I want to make it look realistic, I can slide that back over. So up here, I got a couple of weapon displays, which I just wanted to see what they did, so I just threw a couple weapons on there. I've got one dresser that has all of the standard clothing or standard armor that's like full body stuff. That's what's in there. I've got one locker that only has headwear, and I also have all the dog stuff in there, like the dog collars and dog armor. I have one locker that has chest armor in it. I have one locker that has all the armor, and one that has all the leg armor in it. I still haven't put anything on my armor rack. Then over here I got my weapons. I got one toolbox that has one toolbox that has all of my missile weapons, my thrown weapons, grenades, as well as the mines and all of that stuff. This is something I used to do in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, so I'm just continuing it here, just as a sense of organization. I have one crate that has all my heavy weapons in it. I should create more of them. I should have some that have just all the pistols and one that has rifles, but because this game kind of blurs the line between the two, all of the other guns are essentially in this chest. And this chest has all my melee weapons and hand weapons. Then we've got all the legendaries. This trunk is filled with all the legendary weapons that I own that I'm not currently using. There's a lot of them. And multiples of some of them. It takes a long time to get to the bottom of this list. And despite the fact that I have so many of them, I've been using essentially the same weapons, which I haven't gone over yet. I got to remember to do that. Then I also have all my legendary armor in here. Not near as many of these as weapons, but still a lot of them. But again, I'm looking mostly at the bonuses they give you, and despite the fact there's some really cool stuff in here, that's just kind of the way I am about it. Oh, what did I pick out of here now? Okay, so this footlocker has all of the stuff that isn't considered unique. It isn't considered legendary, but a lot of it's named. So it didn't have any other designation, and I didn't want it to get lost with all the crap, with all of the standard stuff. So in the case of weapons, these are like this is the only flare gun I've seen so far. So I didn't want to get rid of it. I bought a baseball launcher and they're built to it. Some of these I bought, some of them I acquired or found. But they all were kind of like the silver submachine gun. The one for the character, it's nothing special about it, but it has a unique name. The Zeta gun, same thing. There's nothing special about these, but except for their name mostly. So I wanted to make sure, and other ones were just ones I haven't found any duplicates. It's like nobody uses these things. Yes, I can find the merchant that sells them and get more of them, so they're not unique, they're not legendary. But anyway, for weapons, that's what I did. Armor, the same kind of thing. Some of these were things that I was awarded. Other ones are things like Lorenzo's suit or the lieutenant's or Kellogg's outfit. These are things that I acquired that were named after people. They should be considered unique items, even though they don't really provide any great bonuses or anything. So I put them in here. Over here, I have all of the super mutant stuff. I do have a super mutant follower, so I can equip him with that. And then I have some more stuff. This is basically my own personal stuff. Clothing that I like to wear if I want to change it up. Every once in a while, if I have a weapon that I've just burnt out of ammo and I don't want to be carrying it around, I might throw it in here just so I don't, again, have to go through this entire list to try to find it again. Speaking of weapons, let's go over my weapons. I have been using some of these weapons for literally 50 or 60 levels. I acquired this ghoul slaying incinerator a long time ago, and it was great because I like the idea of anytime I see ghouls or I'm going into some place where I know that there's going to be ghouls, I just whip this thing out and start torching the ground, start torching the water. Turns out it works really well against mirelurks. It also works pretty good against super mutants because some of the super mutants do not like my other weapons. They just don't. I mean, I just burn through ammo, and I never have a shortage of fuel, so I use this thing a lot. It does quite a bit of damage, but it's the persistence of it that makes it, and it's area. It spits out these balls of fire that are just, I don't know. It's a very effective weapon. I got my Mighty Shielded, which are my alterations, to a Gauss rifle. The Gauss rifle has that 25% extra damage, so it does a lot of damage. Essentially, this is my default sniper rifle. It's long range, as you can see, 215. It's not a fast firing weapon. It's good at taking out a single target, but it's lousy at trying to hit moving targets. And it uses that 2mm EC ammo. That is not. It's hard for me to keep that stocked. I've used up all the ammo on this thing several times, so I have to resist the temptation. But if I need to hit a target from long range, this is my go-to gun. It is 21 pounds. I'm carrying some heavy-ass weapons. And that's part of the downside of this build that I have, because I started her off with a strength of 2. I like playing characters that have really high stats in one area and then really, really bad low scores. And then I found out that there's no limit to the level ups, so you can basically max out everything. So it was kind of silly to do it that way. But anyway, I think her strength is now, 5 or 6? 7. That might, I don't know, it might be with a bonus. But it started off at 2. The next one is another weapon I found pretty early on, and it has been a staple. There was a while there it was my only weapon. Before I started using all these other weapons, I was using this one. It's the never-ending double barrel shotgun. So the double barrel shotgun but the problem was it burnt through all my shotgun shells, and I've been doling the things out to the shells out to other characters as well, my various settlers and communities that have shotguns. So I'm kind of low on shotgun shells right now. Otherwise, this is a great weapon to just endlessly fire it. You never have to reload it. Otherwise, double barrel shotguns suck. You shoot it and then you spend half your time loading the thing. Well, this one, it just constantly refills itself, and it does a solid 81 damage. But I'm at a point where it's not as effective as it used to be. like, oh, I can go up against low-level humans all day and night. Single shots, 2 shots, 3 shots, they're dead. But against super mutants, I mean, it could take 20 or 30 shots before I finally bring one of them down. So I don't use it as often as I used to. This one, the Old Reliable, is one I recently acquired. I think I got this up in the what is it? The harbor thing. It doesn't quite replace my long range gun. It doesn't have nearly as good a range. I mean, it's got half as well, so it's not a really great long range weapon. It uses a hard to acquire 4570 ammo. It does decent damage, but it's not. It's basically it's not as effective. If it's a great weapon to use in VOTS, I can get a lot of shots on this thing with VOTS, but it takes a while to reload it because it's one of those where you have to put in a single shell, single shell, and it takes a little bit of time to get it to reload. But it's the most recent weapon into my little repertoire. Another one that I have put in and taken out, and I'm going to have to take out again because I don't have any frag grenades, is this Chinese grenade launcher rifle. The reason I started using this is because my shotgun has become less effective. This thing blows stuff up. It is very good against super mutants, and every time I come across a lot of super mutants, I just hate how many shots it takes to kill them all. Well, this thing takes them out in a dang hurry. The problem is its ammo is so hard to acquire. Well, actually, it probably isn't. I can probably get it from merchants. I just forget that I need to buy it. And right now, I don't have any ammo for it, so why carry around the 19-pound gun? The automatic gamma gun. This thing does a huge amount of radiation damage, but that's all it does. So it's absolutely worthless against ghouls. And anything else that is resistant to radiation. It's not very effective against super mutants. It does great against humans, though. Single shot kills are very common with it. The problem is you only get like 3 shots of it, and then you have to reload it, and it takes a little bit to reload. Kind of a pain in the butt. But it's the lightest weight weapon that I have, so it's a trade-off. I don't mind carrying it around, even if I don't use it very often. I tend to just use it when I'm going up against a bunch of humans, though. Then there's the weapon that I literally has been the backbone of my day-to-day combat, probably for 40 or 50 levels, even more than the shotgun. But really, the two of them, for the longest time, I was only equipping with these two. I was basically coming back to my base, getting rid of all the weapons that I've acquired, and I leave the base with just these 2 guns. This is the Tesla cannon with all of my modifications onto it. It does that chain reaction damage. It does a humongous amount of energy damage, as you can see, 189. It's got very long range. I can make it more accurate. I choose not to, because as long as I'm in the vicinity, this thing will hit something. And it's pretty much good against everything. And it uses an energy. It's the only energy weapon that I'm using here that uses regular fusion cells, so I never have a shortage of ammo. The downside. Okay, well, there's a downside. The jumping damage is not really great when you have followers, and it's also not great if you have neutral parties nearby. Shooting at them when there are traders or something walking around, or merchants and stuff, it'll blast them, and all of a sudden you're fighting you're in a 3 or 4 way fight when you started off just fighting off against one enemy. But other than that, as long as I'm off on my own, or all I have is with me my follower, it's fine, and it works great against multiple opponents. It's a great weapon when you have a bunch of people close together, because you can kill 3 or 4 people with a single shot. You just got to watch out for neutral parties. That's my primary weapons, and I've been using those things forever. I got to get rid of this shotgun, or the grenade launcher, because it's not being used. Okay. I have to take my power armor with me, because just in case. The last time I did my little tour, I ended up going to a community and it got attacked, and I don't want to be stuck out there without full armor. Now, as for where we want to go, so earlier tonight I was busy getting my trade network built, so I'm pretty comfortable with going to these places now. Might as well go to Abernathy Farm. I don't want to do any housekeeping while I'm in these places. I just want to visit them, show what I've done, and move on. For the most part, all this area I could build. I haven't done a dang thing. I did tonight build a building over here because we need to get more people to move here. This happened the last time I was on here. Alright. I'm always getting people that just don't want to leave us alone. Hate looting bodies and foliage. Can never find them. Well, there was another body. They got him, so I don't know where he's at. Well, I ain't gotta have to worry about it. And there were some bodies down below. I generally don't take all their clothes, but I've been stuck with, I just strip them of their armor. But then I keep having situations where I have all this armor I need to equip people, and they end up having to equip it naked because they don't have any of the base clothing items underneath. So I just try to avoid picking up things that are like raider this or raider that. I don't want my people to look like raiders. What the heck is this doing all the way over here? Oh, the fight started off with a fight against mongrels, maybe. Anyway, so the Abernathy Farm, about the only thing I did besides add a couple of little outposts here. I got my bar area here, the trade post, store, the workstations are all in here. I haven't really done much in the building. I did accidentally allow the daughter of the farm's owner to die. I failed to go rescue her from raiders. I did not realize it was such a crucial time limit, or I would have done it. I did put some turbine up here, which I thought was kind of neat, and attached it up. I recently put in this power generator too because we needed a little more power down below. Other than throwing in some bedding, that's about all I did up here. And earlier tonight, I built this structure next door because I decided we're going to be getting an influx of people. And as big as this building is, there's just not much room for beds and people. So I built this structure. Downstairs, we got our little shops. Most of these are not staffed yet because we don't have the people. I did manage to get that guy there. And then upstairs are beds. And then the top floor is more of a extra beds, but also, some nice views. Also got a little fence that takes you over to the top. So that's all I've done with Abernathy. I didn't bother taking you to Red Rocket because I haven't done anything with it. I'm abandoning it. I'm not even going to build it up. I have some stuff that are built there, but I watched a person online create this just really cool looking Red Rocket base, and I'm in the process of trying to use the techniques that they described to build it, and it's working, but it's a little more trying than I expected, and I'm having a hard time getting it to mesh. I don't have anybody living there. It's just me, kind of. It's my little playground. But anyway, my trade. You can see they're going back. They're going back to Sanctuary Hills. I got one trade route that goes from Sanctuary Hills to here. From here, it goes to the Starlight, and that's the next place I want to go because everything I have is right now geared to going to the Starlight to drive in. Because of its central location, but also because it has a huge area to build. And even though I haven't really built much with it, in fact, I didn't do anything except clear it a long time ago, it's been sitting there empty until today. And today I started building it. But right now it's short of people and resources. So I'm busy filing there's one route that goes from Sanctuary Hills to Abernathy Farms, and I have another one going from Abernathy Farms to Starlight. And right now, this is what I've done with Starlight. Oh, we're outside. I was like, where are we at here? This doesn't look familiar. Let's see. Let's start off with, I cleared out the whole place early on. I got rid of all of the vehicles, and I allowed the mole rats to all vanish, so they're not plaguing my environment. I wish I would have done that at more of the locations, but I didn't. This is one of my traders, my provisioner. I'm not sure which one because right now I have several routes coming here. I decided this is going to be my central location because I have the most I can build here. I got nothing here but space. I got my water source. I've got the big fusion generator up there, and I'm going to wire everything to that. So I'm not going to have a bunch of little power generators all over the place. I'm going to have everything wired up to the fusion because it generates all the stuff. My workstations are all over here. I mean, that's where the red one is, and I can't move that, so I put all the other ones around it. And over here's the garden. Basically, I just put all the little plants in and around the trees over here, so that is officially the garden for this place. All the middle spot is just available to build. There's really not much you can do with this building. I don't know. I might have to watch a video and see what people have done with this particular structure, but I have a hard time visualizing what I can use this space for. I did decide I'm going to put the little bar here, and I do have one bed up here. I got rid of the bed that was here, and of course that put the skeleton on the floor, which I can't get rid of, so I put a bed on top of the skeleton. If you could sleep on a bed that has a skeleton. I only have, one or two? Two people here. One of them I think I've converted into I'm not sure. No, actually, both of the people that are here are working the farm. I don't even have anybody on guard duty yet. So as soon as I can acquire some more people, I'll have people at my guard stations. But a lot of guns, as you notice. The guns I like the elevated guns. It kind of covers the area. Okay. These gates are the natural gates that were here. The back side, I got a simple wall, nothing spectacular. And part of that wall is this building. I just kind of threw together. It's kind of I could have just put in one of those storage crate things. It's essentially all this is glorified storage crate, but it works. Finishes up the wall to another guard post, and then it's the garden. Can't really do anything on this backside because of the hillside, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is building a wall along the cement, at least from the workshop and then up to the big screen. It's going to go straight up there and then across. I just haven't gotten around to building it yet. I'll do more things once I get more people here and start staffing things, because right now it's kind of frustrating because I just don't have the people. I have two of the trade spots, one on this gate, because a lot of the people are going to be coming in from that direction. I have another one up there on that edge because there's a road that goes parallel to the back of this. And along this entire side, I put a wall. An intermixing of wall pieces and the fences with a guard tower there. My own little makeshift guard tower here with a nice view up to the railroad. I have no idea what direction attackers are going to come from, so I'm just kind of building. I originally had this and it was just fences, but then you end up with a fence piece, a fence piece, a fence piece, a fence piece, a fence piece with gaps in between them, and it looked like crap. So then I started experimenting with walls, because this is a steel wall and these are part of the wood wall sets. And the wood walls, and all these walls, you can just attach them directly, so it's nice and seamless. It does have some problems with interacting with the ground. You have to build it on the lower part and then build it into the ground, basically force it to go down. It worked out well. And then every once in a while you have to throw in these fences, because otherwise you couldn't have a big long wall without any kind of supports, and this thing has at least some supports. So that's kind of like, it looks a lot more visually appealing that way, more like it's a supported wall. Basically that's my advice, is intermix fencing with walls. A couple of little elevated platforms, because I was having a hard time filling the gap, so I just, okay, heck with it, I'll build my own little building in place of the gap, and then continued on. I don't get anything up here. It's kind of all in the open, because again, I have no idea which direction things are going to come from, but obviously this road is going to be where some of the merchants might travel. So I'll pop in here, and there you go. I've even got these little guns hidden under the little piles of stuff. As far as the base, the stuff that was in the theater, I haven't done anything really with it. This is kind of a makeshift kitchen-ish with the foodstuffs to here. And this is basically a storage room. I could just as easily turn this into something else. I could put beds in here. Yeah, I got a sleeping bag in here. I could gut these, save myself something. I don't know. But I don't want to throw it away if I can find a use for it. So I'm kind of holding off destroying any more of the built-in furnishings. And then the back corner, I've got another guard post. Again, a gap in the fence. It's on a hill. There's not much I can do with this. So lastly, I don't have any housing. So other than the beds that I have squirreled away where I could, including 3 beds under here, all of those are temporary. I intend to make a proper building here, which is why I built the foundations up. I can make this thing as big as I need it to. I can make this thing continue to go out. I can leave it where it's at. I can make several different ones. I don't know. I need to look online and see what people have done to make this, fill this space. Because here's the problem. I'm already over 50% in the size area, and I've hardly built anything. And this whole structure is just waiting to be built. So I need to temper my building with the maximum capacity that I can build. But so far, I'm just reserving that space. I think that I could build a decent building in there, or put a prefab on top of it. I don't know. Whatever. Right now, all the resources are being funneled here. Next, I gotta go out to Tim Pines. I've abandoned some of them. I am not building Outpost Zamanja. I am also not building the, what was the one out here? The stupid coastal cottage. There's just no reason to. There's nothing there, so I'm just leaving them. But I am building, I've built up 10 Pines Bluff. I don't want to burn through all my power cores. What's that one on? That's not bad. All right, 10 Pines Bluff really is one of the sucky outposts. There's only so much you can do with this place, right? That's all I ever heard about. Because all you're stuck with, this is what comes with this location. You got this little shack with a couple of beds and a garden. That's all it has. There's a building over here. It's completely wrecked. You can't use it. Okay, so that's what I had to work with. So on this side, because the edge of the buildable area is so crappy, you can't really do much over here. It's not like you can garden this stuff. So I put in the little cattle trough there, the Brahmin trough, and I, of course, have a trade post here. I put my water pump there. Up here's not really using it for anything. Got another power generator hidden in the bushes. I put my recruitment radio beacon right in the middle of a 3-pack of outposts. So these guys will just travel between the different outposts repeatedly. So essentially that's this side of the base. Then down the hill we have the garden, which is pretty big and overflowing. I've expanded the base garden quite a bit. It's the only flat part of the main part of this base. This is the lounge area. This is where the merchants and stuff like to hang out. Not much I can do with this space. Put in another trade thing because they keep coming up the hill here, so I'm just like, screw it, I'll just put one of these over here too. This is the last thing I built. I don't know why these guys are, for some reason, they can't figure out how to go upstairs sometimes, and that kind of irritates me.
Okay. Got it. Sure.
Anyway, I built this little barracks thing that apparently they can't figure out how to get into. But anyway, that's what's there. This is also off the back side of it. I wanted to make sure I had a spot that I could put in some defenses, so I put in another guard post there. The ground here sucks, so everything's got to be elevated. Yes. The first thing I did was build this big structure here. The downstairs area, upstairs. The upstairs doesn't have a real roof. I couldn't put a roof over everything, so I just I'm having routing issues with a lot of this. They don't like using stairs, or they end up stacking up behind each other, so I end up with most of my beds on the ground floor. But this is also where the clinic is. Out here I have my bar. This is the whole bar area. That's why there's so much seating around, because they like to congregate. So with the burnout building, you can't do anything with it. Well, I turned it into my trade post. So I put armor and weapons on one side, clothing in general on the other, and guns filling in the gaps. It worked. Actually, this is a really decent flat space. I could have easily built up around it and turned this into actual living space with a roof over the top, but I needed a space to put trading stuff, and it's flat, so I was like, oh, that'll work. And then I built this other little building over here again, more bedroom space. But this time all it has is basically they won't use these as your little outposts, but essentially that's what it's supposed to be for, because it overlooks the camp. But whatever. It's more for my own design aesthetic than anything else. But I needed beds because that little shack doesn't have any. So between these 3 buildings, that's where all the beds are. Whether or not they can get to them, I can't worry about that. They're there. That's all the game cares about. Power, water pump. So I got 2 big water pumps here. Okay. And I have a merchant going from, let's see, from here to to Starlight. Next, we got to go to the Slog. I like the Slog. It was one of the first not the first, but it was one of the outposts I spent time upgrading somewhat. It's kind of a weird base location to build because a lot of it's permanently built and you can't change it. So you just have to furnish it. It lacks some of I could build stuff out here, but it's outside of the fencing area, which kind of rubs me the wrong way. So Yeah, we got several merchants. We have two different pathways out of here. I have one group going from the slog to Green Top Greener, and I have one going from here to Finches. Both of them get attacked constantly. There's going to be a lot of combat once he gets near that place down there. The stupid metal dudes are going to be all over the place. So this is the little lounge area for the traders, because that's where the trade thing is. Mostly just guns, and I put a bunch of these little scavenge stations out here, so the scavengers run around. Can't do anything about the golf area or the the diner. Those are out of the build zone. Actually, I'm out of the build zone right now. There we go. See? Sure would be nice to have it a little, an extra 100 feet around this thing, but whatever. Inside, I just put in this nice little radio. I had a barber here, a barber chair, and a guy servicing it, and I turned him into one of my little outgoing merchants, and I didn't have anybody to replace him, so I just got rid of the barber chair. Most of these beds are the ones that came with the thing. You can't move them, you can't delete them, they're just stuck. I threw a few more in to like the bathroom stalls, so there's more bedroom space in here.
Yeah.
Same thing over here, added in beds wherever I could, because I can't really build a lot outside. And I didn't feel like building on top of the roof because of all the stair problems. And then over here is the medical area. So I got, a doctor and a clinic, and those should be staffed, but I don't know where everybody's at.
Wow, ain't you a looker?
Out here, just kind of using stuff, putting stuff where I can fit it. I can't do anything about the red thing. It's stuck way out there in the boonies. The pool area, I've left most of the chairs and stuff, so people have plenty of places to lounge. And of course, they have their little garden area, their version of cranberries. They grow out there. And then, of course, I put in a couple of water purifier things. The big power generator, because I needed it to go up on the roof. I have a handful of the manual posts, but then I have guns all over the place too. Anything that tries to attack this place gets gunned down pretty quickly. What is my defensive value on this? 67. Not bad. I mean, considering this isn't even a quarter of the size of Sanctuary Hills, it's got a lot of firepower. And the ghouls here are pretty tough to begin with. And then, of course, there's the garden area, which is essentially I haven't done anything with. This is their garden. I don't even think I've even added any plants. It's plenty big. I decided this is where I'm going to put my little marketplace. Again, all of those are staffed. I don't know where everybody is. It must be a weird time of day. I didn't want to destroy all the playground equipment, so I just left it all there. It's not really much going on out here.
Yeah.
But this is the end of one of my lines. So from here, let's see. I don't want to go to Finch Farm yet. We got to go to Green Top. So I have my
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere without my armor. Where'd my armor go? Oh, I left it at the other place, didn't
Yeah.
I? That's why I don't like taking off my armor, because I forget it. Back to Pines Bluff. Okay, let's get my armor. All right, so I have a route from the Slog to Greentop Nursery, and I have another one going from the Slog down to Finch Farm. We'll connect up with Finch Farm later. So let's go over to Greentop Nursery next. This was one of the last places. No, I guess it really wasn't. I finished my northern merchant mercantile routes are all done. I'm currently working on the eastern ones, and I haven't done the southern ones yet. I have them all planned out. I just haven't gone to each of the locations and actually built them up. So for here, I put the little beacon on the roof, which sinks down into it, which is fine. The building, can't do much with it. I squeeze in as many beds as I could without having to destroy every piece of furniture in the process. I tried to keep as many of the tables, although I did have to get rid of some of the cans and trash cans and other stuff. So, Christ, there we go. I got my bar. You have to have a bar in every location because that's where they like to go after work. I extended, this was built in. This was the only stuff that was like part of the built-in structure. And there's not much to it, as you can tell. A couple of beds. I don't think I built that. Did I build that? I don't think so. I think that was part of their construction. And of course, there's the big greenhouse. I put in a couple of the trade spots there. This is the little lounge area. And again, like I did in Sanctuary Hills, you can see I put the concrete base just to give it a flat space to build up to it. I haven't done anything with the greenhouse. I might have thrown in a few plants early on, I don't remember, but essentially it's, the mute fruit grows pretty well. I put a couple of my stores down there. It's not flat, but, people stand behind it. It's not ideal, but it works. I don't really have space for all the other ones, though, here. Earlier today, I built this stuff up over here, and it's kind of nice. I liked how these turned out. The power is all connected up, so the house is powered up. The beacon is powered up through here. The water pumps. Oh, I'm going to have to remove this. I'll worry about it later. These buildings weren't here 6 hours ago. These I built. This part of the garden I expanded outside of the greenhouse. A couple of guns out here. There's some nastiness over the hill over there, some super mutants, so there's always going to be some fights in this area. So I built up these buildings, and I'm experimenting with multiple level platforms, and it turned out pretty nice. One to here, then one up to here, and essentially it's just a barracks. Again, I intend to do more furnishing-wise at some point. Right now I'm just trying to get the bare bones of the place. You need beds. You don't need furnishings. Furnishings are to make it look pretty. You can't do anything about this debris in here. It's fixed. So I had to build a separate platform over here that took quite a bit of effort to get it to work right. I gotta move that gun. There's a huge rock over here, or a pile of rocks, I guess. I couldn't build into this lump, so I put extended a platform up, and it created a really nice area. Now it turns out I didn't need the beds. I already have 20 beds here, so I'm not going to need this thing for beds. So I don't know what I'm going to use this space for. I guess I could put some of the stores in there. Nice little overlooks. I could convert these into outpost things if I needed, but otherwise it's just beds. It turned out pretty nice. Managed to get the roof on the lower part, but I can't put a roof here because it cuts off, and they won't let you build anything slanted or anything. It's not quite freeform, but it works kind of nice for a multi-level little outpost. Essentially, that's all I've done with this place. Alright, and from here, let's see, my tour goes to Tappington House, which earlier tonight was my first time I'd done anything with it. It was completely empty. Hey, I got a third person there. So I decided when I looked at the map of all the outposts that this one is one that was going to be important because it's a kind of a crossroads. I have a couple of different routes that are coming here, and this thing didn't have anybody in it. It was completely empty. I had not done anything with it. So I put up a beacon, I put up a power generator and a beacon, and got a person in here, put them to farming, got another person in here, I turned them into a traveler, and now it looks like I got a third person, so I got to assign them to some stuff. I got my water pump powered up. Weapons, armor are both in here. Inside the garage, it's a boathouse, so I could have put the water pump inside. It would protect it from any kind of enemy attacks. Oh, I didn't even realize there's a boat up there. Huh. But right now, I haven't done anything with it. It's an empty room. Can't move the workshop. It's permanent fixed. The garden, they had already started in the front yard with these gourds, so I just built around it. I just added a bunch more plants around it. So now the whole front yard is essentially its little garden. The house itself wasn't in bad shape. Of all the houses in this game that are established as outposts, this one is pretty nice. It's got a decent ground floor. There's no like destroyed floorboard areas, nothing I had to patch. The walls are intact, although there's a lot of windows. I decided to put the bar in here. I kept the kitchen all intact. I didn't do anything with it. Added some chairs and stuff for people to sit. Of course, around the outside, we have the little patio deck. Go fishing, swimming, whatever. Radiated water. Can't fix the damage, and I can't destroy it. I can't remove it, so it's stuck. Okay, upstairs, and then there's the kitchen area. Upstairs, again, I left the furnishings mostly. These are all stuff that was stock. I added in beds. Again, stock. Added in some small beds. I think that bed was in here. Oh, that's cool. Brought her back. It's a story-related quest one. Won't get rid of her. I did that a long time ago. This body is not going anywhere. I threw it in the tub, and all of a sudden she spawned back outside. So that sucks. So there's not a whole lot I can do with there. But essentially, this is just an outpost. I don't even need 20 people here. I just need 7. I counted up. I need exactly 7 people. I need 2 people to do farming. I need somebody to run the bar. That's 3. I need 2 people to be guards. 4, 5. I need somebody to do scavenging. That's 6. And I need the person that's doing the transportation. That's my 7th person. So now I have a 3rd person. I can either put him to work as a guard, or it looks like they took the guard job. So I'll have to get them better weapons, because they always have crappy pipe pistols, and that's worthless. I just got to get a few more people here. Put a guard post on either side of the road. Again, I have no idea where attacks are coming from this place. I know that there's a building up there, and I know that there's hostile camps here and there on the road, and I don't know, maybe even mirelurks are coming out of the water. It beats me. I put the trough for the Brahmin. I assume I'm going to get a Brahmin at some point. The building limitations are, let's see, as you can see, it goes right up to the edge of the road. Can't quite get over this ridge here, so I can't really build a wall unless I destroy all this stuff, and I kind of like the debris the way it is. So I decided, it's just a big hillside. I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm stuck basically with the 2 outposts and the guns that I placed up on the deck. So yeah, it is what it is. From here, we go, let me see. Where's my little Green Top to Taffington to, okay. So from there, I have a person traveling to the Starlight Drive-In. So they just travel up along that road. That ends that trip. Next one goes, okay, then we got to go out to Kingsport Lighthouse. See what I did here. Or where I'm at right now anyway. This thing I built up earlier in the week, and it's finally getting some people in here.
Sounds not much.
Put up some walls. It's not really needed because it's on over a rocky cliffside, but makes it look pretty imposing. Here's the main gate. What is that? Oh, I is my caravan? Something's attacking my caravan that's out there. That's why they're getting all crazy. I don't care. Okay, so I built a little... The ground looks flat, but it's not. It is very uneven. I was having a hard time finding places to put stuff where it was level, so I ended up putting in a concrete base with some stairs to give myself a little storefront. So there's the store. The house, it's okay, but a lot of these houses with blown out roofs are kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. And here's the worst part about these houses. It's not the ground floor. The ground floor isn't bad. I left the kitchen mostly intact. I squeezed a couple of beds in. I'll probably have to get rid of that old clunky radio. This is the problem. In more than one of my houses, I tried to utilize the upstairs space by putting in beds, but then you have this tiny, narrow-ass little staircase, and they just can't handle multiple people going up and down and everything. Couldn't do much with this either. I can't build a roof over it, so I just threw in the weight bench. So yes, although I have some beds in here, it's kind of a pain in the butt to utilize it. Making sure it's not smoking. I have outposts all over the place. I assume at some point we're going to get attacked by mirelurks because we're right on the water line. We have a metal staircase that comes down onto this dock area. A boat. I put in a big water thing. It's powered up. I got a big shop in here. I threw in a couple of beds. Yeah. Other than that, I haven't done anything with this location down here. I did put in some outposts again because I assumed at some point we're going to get attacked by mirelurks or something, but put a couple of little outposts over here at least to keep our eye on the water line. And some more up above with guns. Over here is the garden. Again, there were some plants. This is where they defaulted. They started off with a garden over here and I just added to it. So that's why I don't have enough room for walls. It actually comes right up to the edge of the buildable area. The main feature of this, of course, is the lighthouse. Oh, I did put the bar back here too. Like I said, I gotta have a bar in every location. It makes them happy. So, can't do anything with the red bench. We got the, our things. I don't know. He might have a routing problem. He can't get to his bed. I threw a bunch of extra beds along the platforms going up the lighthouse. I'm not sure if anybody's using them. Same issue, narrow staircase. People want to go up, people want to go down. Ends up with all sorts of conflicts. As you can see, nobody's sleeping in these beds, but these ones are. So they've managed to find their way to their beds. Recruitment beacon. We have 18 people here. Doesn't need to be on. Oh, that's right. I turned it off. And I'm probably okay with that. 18 is I think, enough. If I feel like I need a couple more, I can turn it back on. Turn the generator back on, too. Lighthouse, again, stuck with the stupid dead body that I can't do anything with. At some point, I'm going to go over to the Followers of Adam camp. I haven't done it yet. That's one of the few locations left in the main map that I have not visited. I'm going to go over there and kick their butts. Back down the lighthouse. Oh, actually, I don't even need to do this. I'm wearing my armor. So, from Kingsport Lighthouse, I have a trade route going to Finch Farm. Before I go to there, and then from Finch Farm it goes to Taffington. But I'm going to go to Croup Manor, which is here. This is the next location. This is another end point. I have a trade route that goes from Croup to Finch Farm as well. So Finch Farm will be the next location we go to. All right, what have I done with this place? This is another one that people have not been real happy with. You got this big pillar thing in the middle, which I kind of like because I just put a bunch of guns on it. It's a nice overview. The fence is default. I didn't do anything with that. It's fine. The worst part about this location is all the dead ghouls. I can't do anything about them. They're all over the place. You can pile them all up and they'll just respawn back where they fell. I don't know. Put an outpost there to watch the road. This is the only way in and out of this place, so I figure this is the place we need to worry about most, because everything else is pretty much a rocky shoreline. But I have some outposts there. I squeezed in as much of a garden as I could along this little stretch of greenery. Another outpost. The backside doesn't really have much on it. The built-in work area is right here under the overhang. So yeah, we got the armor bench, the weapon bench, and the workshop. I filled in some of the holes in the wall and tried to utilize the actual door space. Although I don't know why you'd need two doors in such close proximity to each other when they're basically going to the same place. The cooking stove that came with the base environment. But I put in a clothing store there. Over here we have a clinic. Beds being used. Living space. We got a couple of staircases. We have one staircase that goes down, which I have a bed for one person. That's my... And then a door that goes into the basement, which I don't use. Then upstairs, along again, the narrow-ass little staircase. This was not the best house. This had all sorts of holes in it, so I had to patch some holes, patch some walls. I did that. I think there's something over there. Oh, I don't know. Had to patch a hole here with a floor piece and put a wall up to block some of the wall stuff. But the other parts are okay. There's a big hole here. I ended up building my own little building right inside the house. This is most of the bedrooms. That's the boxcar door. I love using that as a little sliding door. I haven't used this space yet, but I did have a roof on it, so I could actually put beds in here if I needed to. Nice little overhang to... Nice little view, actually. I don't know what was over there. Again, holes in the floor forced me to have to rebuild the floor in here, basically. This is all my building with some beds. Which also, I put some walls in because, again, there's no ceiling here. I gotta build a ceiling yet. I built another sliding door. I love that. It just does it on its own. Put it in anywhere and it'll slide back and forth. And I managed to get it to fit in there in a nice little spot. Little bedrooms here. Again, this whole place was blown out, so I had to put in some of my own flooring. And we're stuck with ghouls hanging on things and falling through floors and stuff, so that's how I fixed up this place. I don't remember. I think it's just a blown out thing that I couldn't fix, so I just decided to block it off, keep people from going in there. Yeah, see? There is a door there, and I just covered it up because I couldn't do anything with this space. I couldn't build a wall in here, so I decided, yeah, if I wanted to, I could put a gun or a gun installation up here, but can't do anything with the dead ghouls everywhere. Alright, it is one of my stray body armors, or power armors are here. I don't know. What I like about this place is you do have it's not a bad building. It's fixable, and there's definitely space. And the fact that it started off as 3 floors makes it's something to work with. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to fix it. It takes a lot of materials, but I managed to do it. So it's not a bad building. You do have the nice little semi-flat, roundabout driveway here over a little tower that you can definitely use for defensive purposes. What I love about this place is it does only have one entrance and exit, so everything that comes at you is going to have to come from here. So defensively speaking, it's not a bad location. I think I did okay. I really don't see myself making this much better structurally. Yes, I want to make it better decoratively, but structurally I think it's sound. Okay, so both Croup Manor and the Kingsport Lighthouse send their runners, basically, to Finch Farm. These little farms I managed to, I don't know, I'm in the process of fixing them up. They're not where I want them to be yet. This one's not too bad. They had a really good farm. I've added a few plants to it, but essentially they had corn and the mute fruit, and they had a lot of it. So I made another row of stuff out here. This whole direction is exposed, but I haven't been attacked from over here, so I'm not too worried. I put a bunch more stuff over here. I need a few more people to move here now. I built a fenced-in an area because I was tired of this stupid Brahmin wandering all over the place. Even when they had the trough, they were just getting everywhere, so I decided to heck with that. Fence them in, leave them in there.
Got some goods I can sell you.
Built-in stuff. I can't do anything about the cooking station, but I decided, well, let's put my little shops out here. So I got my store and my bar. This is the building that came with the location, so I can't really do much with it. I threw in a sleeping bag, but other than that, essentially that's the building that was here. I built these other buildings. This one I built a while back. Essentially, it's just, more barracks. This one over here I just built a few hours ago. Threw in a ton of sleeping bags because I'm anticipating more people moving here soon. I try to leave as much of the debris as I can because I think it adds character to the location. All of these wrecked vehicles I could get rid of, but I kind of like them. Put the trade area here. For all I know, they're shooting at a damn bug. They're always shooting at stupid things and getting in fights, but ever since I started these trade caravans up, the path that goes south ends up fighting with raiders that are on top of these stupid overpasses. What a waste. I should go up and see what was up there and loot the bodies. So that's what I did here. So we have a bunch of trade caravans coming into this location. From here, they go on. I have two paths out of Finch. One of them is going to Taffington, which eventually goes on to Starlight. The other one I have going to the next farm down, and that's Country Crossing. That's where we'll go next. Country Crossing is one I've done a little more with. This one is, I don't know, there's a lot of space, but it actually looks pretty good, doesn't it? The 3 buildings in the back there. It's turned out okay. Considering this is one of the less defensible farmsteads, I have not built in like the fencing and walls around the thing. It's pretty much just relying on manpower to defend it. I want to go see what the heck they were shooting at. Blew up a vehicle at least. Saw a vehicle get lit up, that's all I know. Oh, there's a Mirelurk. But I don't think that's what they were shooting at. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. So, Country Crossing. That's where this guy's going anyway. It's just down the road. Let's see if we got the same overpass. The problem with this place is it runs pretty close to the, was it the National Guard training or storage or whatever the heck that's called. What is it? National Guard training yard is over there. They have some robots and guns that might take shots at you. There's no reason to fast travel to this one because it's just down the road. So this one I had a lot of fun with. You got this watered bog here, watery bog. Underneath all of my construction, there's a wrecked building. I built around it, I built over it, I built next to it. This is part of the original building, and this is basically what it looks like. It's missing almost everything. So I wanted to find a way to basically... Jesus. Seriously, guys? just came from over there. There wasn't anything over there.
Find him. Your actions could result in injury.
Whatever. Back to the tour. So this location's got like the other locations, it's got a big fenced-in farm that comes with it, and this one's all mute fruit. I threw in some other fruits as well, I think. You notice the little standalone little outposts that I placed in different locations. That's essentially the only defenses this place has. It doesn't have any walls. And the guns, it's got a few gun installations, but not as many as some of my other bases do. This place came basically with this shack. This little shack was built in. I built everything else around the existing house that was sitting empty.
Let me see and scan as many
I love my little, looks like a little railroad car basically, and I built a little patio area off the back of it. It's got a double box door, boxcar door, one out the back, one out the side. So this one's got the patio, and this one goes into the rest of the camp. A couple of beds, another bed. Pillars to support the build on that I did. That's the base location for that. I couldn't do anything about it. It's not a great location. I put a little extra flooring on it and kind of created a little more workspace. Then I built another little extension over here and put a big long bar with all the different merchants. Most of which I think are staffed. Some of them I was still waiting on some people. Trade post is there. Another guard post. Now let's go into the building itself. So again, I utilized the boxcar. So this could be completely enclosed. That slides open. You can just walk in here. Guard post. Fencing. So it's all blocked in. Technically, you can get out through here. That was a feral ghoul that came over and attacked. Water, if it wasn't for the water, this place wouldn't be near as charming, because at least with the water I can throw in a big water, purifier thing. The workstations on this is basically it for the floor of the house. That's all it was. And it's fairly flat, so I threw in all the workstations. Half staircase up into what I basically built around the building. So it's got all walls, and it's got ceilings. It's missing a wall over here, but that's fine. Another stair that goes up. More beds.
Keep leading and I'll follow you.
And overlook. Gun. Defensive post. Recruitment, which is currently turned off. That's fine. I got 18 people here, but I should. I'm going to turn it back. Oh, turn it back on. I can get a few more people in here. But this big building was basically supporting everything. Between this and the little railroad car built, because the base building they had was just garbage, and there wasn't anything I could do with it. So, and this place doesn't have a lot of, unlike some of the other areas, doesn't have a lot of space to build. Can't really build too much out here. Maybe a little house, another little house, or a really long house. I mean, you're either going to have to build around the entire thing with some kind of a wall or a fort. Could build something. You have a lot more space out here. If I really, really wanted to, I could build a unique building over here, but I'm kind of fine the way it is. I like that stands out. It's one of my most built up buildings in terms of my own structures being built up instead of building on an existing structure. It works out okay. And as you can tell, it's a crossroads.
This place just has farmers. Shit. All they
I
want are
love her.
pipes and
Cricket's
such stupid
hilarious.
Or the maniac slobber
Totally
for
insane.
minutes, right?
Stick to the roads, and you got a better chance of surviving.
Okay. That's County Crossing. That's as far as my trade network has been built so far. I have the rest of it's planned out, but I haven't built it all. I was working on Nordhagen Beach. That's where I'm going to go next. So, oh, actually, yeah, we better go there next. Nordhagen Beach. I really like this location. There's a lot of space. I could really do some fun building here. I've just kind of scratched the surface on what I can do. It's another one that's a garden. In this case, it's a gourd garden, but of course I expanded it. So now I got all sorts of stuff being grown and people
Biggest town I ever seen.
servicing it. Outpost around the outside of the place with no proper walls at all. This place has no walls. So I just put outposts and guns. There's lots of guns. There's the building I built. Spoiler. The building that came with the location is just this little shack with a little family living in it, so I couldn't really do much with it. I added in a couple of these little scavenger post stations. That's about it. Again, I try to leave as much of the debris as I can because I think it adds character to the location. But a lot of the little sticks and twigs and crap I got rid of, and tires and some of that stuff. All this beachfront, this could all be built. This is all available to be built. And I already have the two big water purifiers. This place generates a ton of water. Got plenty of electricity. All this beachfront I could build up. I just haven't. I don't know why I built this building so dang close to everything, but I guess I just decided, oh, let's just build it. Ground floor, I got a bar and the general store. The workstations are here because they didn't have the base ones. Well, they do have some of them over there. They didn't have all of them, so I just put them all here. Bedrooms upstairs. That's it. It's just a simple two-story structure. I can build more. All that extra space along the beach is just going to waste. I could do so much with it, but it's a lot of space. I really like this location. It's decent. It's got a nice road. It's right off the road. It also, I think part of it is that most of the other locations, as we've seen, are on hillsides. They're rocky, they're whatever. This one's the only one that's kind of open. Just kind of no big trees, no big rock side. There's no like big ridge or cliff near it. You're right on a road. I mean, I wish the territory extended out to the road so I could clean up some of the other debris, but that's fine. So from here, from Nordhagen Beach, my trade route is going to go to the Mechanist Lair, which is right there. Mechanist Lair is entirely interior. You can't build a garden here. You can't build water here. So everything's going to have to be traded or funneled in. I do have 3 residents here. There's the base character who is playing the part of the mechanist, spoiler alert.
Hey, at least it's
Oh.
honest work.
Make a
Oh,
move
these are
or
caravan
I'll
guards and cricket.
slander.
What? This place just has farmers?
Actually, no. We are inside the main part of the mechanist's lair. Lots of open space to build, but the inability to build certain key things means that I can't put people here yet. But now that I'm getting my trade network going, once I get all that working, I can do it. I currently have Nick Valentine here. I didn't realize I couldn't send him back home. I feel bad about that because he really should be at his detective agency. So he's hanging out in here. The former mechanist is in here. She's the technical person doing the little work. What was her name? Isabella.
Ready to start tracking down some robots?
And I have... There she is. Ida's in here as well. Ada, I mean. I wasn't sure where these guys were going to come in. Okay, that's good to know. So I was good. I put the trade thing here thinking maybe they'd come in that way, and that's what they did. This place has all sorts of doors in and out of it, though, so it just kind of extends into the mechanist's lair, even though your building location is limited to this big room. See, there's a little green barrier you cross. Everything in here you can build. In some cases, you can destroy stuff, but like I can destroy these big storage crates if I wanted, but they had character, so I leave them. And you can build up. There's all sorts of little rooms up here. I haven't done much of anything. If anything, I've deleted stuff. I scrapped stuff for materials. That's about all I've done. I have no idea what kind of attacks this place will sustain, so I put, basically wherever there was a doorway someplace, I put a gun. Because I don't know if something's going to come through it, so I figured, okay, gun. Over here is another doorway, gun. So every single entrance to this place has a gun on it. Some of them I guess I didn't really do much with this one. I have beds in some of the locations because it was just, I was like, I don't know, maybe somebody will sleep up here. Door, gun, bed. I haven't decided if I want to get rid of the cage or not. Got a medical bed there. I think I might put like a clinic or something up here. I don't know. Again, door, gun, bed. The robots don't need beds, so it's like, I just got to get some people in here now. That's all I've done. I haven't done anything with this location because I don't have any materials. But from here, the Mechanist layer needs to go to Country Crossing, which we've already been to. And from Country Crossing, they go to Bunker Hill, which is a normal population area. I haven't built anything there. It's fully staffed. And then from there, I'm going to have to do a trade route from Bunker Hill to Starlight. Let's look at those on the map. Okay, so from Nordhagen Beach to Mechanist Lair, from Mechanist Lair to County Crossing. And there's going to be a trade route from County Crossing to Bunker Hill. So it's going to have to cross that bridge, which I know has got hostiles on it. And from Bunker Hill, they're going to have to go up the highway area here, the roads to. That's a long trip up to Starlight, but that's the trade route. Next, Spectacle Island, which I haven't done diddly squat with. Where's Spectacle? There it is. Spectacle Island's out here. So island to itself. I haven't built anything, so I'm not going to go there. I should also go to Castle.
Perhaps in time it will return to its former.
One of the trade routes is going to go from Spectacle Island to Castle. The other one's going to go to Warwick Estate. We'll go there next. So, inside the big fort, because that's what this is. I am at the maximum level of building, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Fixing the wall, basically, just threw in a concrete wall in that spot.
7 p.m. here at Radio Freedom.
Put in some outposts. This one, I got plans, but I'm at the ceiling of my building limit. Look at that size. I got to figure out a way around that. I know that there's some way to get rid of that. Otherwise, I literally can't build anything else here. Every time I want to put in another wall, I have to destroy something in order to give it enough room to build. I've already taken out things I intended I thought I was going to utilize. So I'm really restricted on what I can build here. So what I did with the castle, this is the garden area. Of course, there's the big radio tower and
Howdy, General.
recruitment stuff.
Ain't looking for trouble, I hope.
Couple of paths out. I again don't know where traders come in this thing. I guess they come through there, but maybe they come through the other gap. I don't know. This is isolated, so let's go over here first. This had to be opened up. That connects up underneath and basically connects up to the armory. All I got in here is, I left most of the stuff in here that was here. Put a bed in for the lady that kind of guards it.
All's quiet across the Commonwealth.
The rest of it, I just kind of went by feel. I have some wind turbines up there. I thought they were kind of nice. I figured there'd be a steady wind coming off the water. Otherwise, and I got 2 mortars, one in that corner and one in that corner. So this thing is really well defended. Inside the fort, we've got the bar area, which I kind of liked. The bartender sleeps on the bed back there. We got the kitchen, the bar, and the seating for the bar. It's his domain all by himself in terms of operating it. So that's what's in here. Empty space, again, when I have solve my stupid size limitations, I'll fix some of this. There's the water purifier, water thing, powered up, connected to this place is all wired. Luckily, it was all wired. I didn't have to do this. It was wired when I got it. So all I needed to do was hook up some power generators and voila. Single bed here, again. I will do stuff once I have the ability to, but right now I don't have the ability to. The aid station, kind of the command room, although I did throw a couple of extra beds in there. Space that's waiting. This is the chemistry station and some storage. And a flamer that I like the look of it, so I just left it there. Nothing going on in here. Then I have the general trader is in here with some barrels and stuff. Then there's the barracks. This is where I have most of my beds, all pushed off to the wall. And then I had a couple of power generators in here, but I didn't need them once I had built the fusion one in here, so I got rid of all the other power sources. Stairs that go up to the top. And that's pretty much all I've done with the castle. I got all these little alcoves that I do stuff with, but I'm at the ceiling of things I can build, and as you can tell, I haven't done a whole lot. So I need to figure out what's consuming most of the building thing and get rid of it. So from Spectacle Island, I have one path going to the castle, and from castle, let's see, where's it going? To Jamaica Plains. Where's Jamaica? Hyde Park, there's Jamaica Plain. So going from there to Jamaica Plain, and from Jamaica Plain to Egret Tours, which is all the way over there. The other path from Spectacle Island goes over to Warwick Homestead. That's where I want to go next. Warwick, I just got possession of. I finally did the little loyalty thing that enabled them to join their little conglomerate. So I've just started doing stuff here. Not even sure why I even came here. I got an outpost built there. That's the only thing I built. The garden is theirs. The housing is theirs. I think all I did was build in the fence. I wanted to build a water purifier thing in here, but at the time I couldn't build anything because I didn't have the resources, so I've just been kind of waiting around for stuff. So haven't done anything with this location. It's got decent space beds right now, but it's going to need more. Luckily, there's all this space here as well as the space over here, so I'll be able to, I'm going to have to put in some buildings of some kind. Might even build over the top of the water. I'll see what I can do. I can build back here too. This is a sewage reclamation place, so it must just reek. But it's also right up against the water, so I need to see where my water purifier stuff's going to be, and most of this out here, because it's relatively flat, is probably where I'm going to do my building. I'm going to have to do some base building. Oh, great. Wow, that was a mass assault of nasty charred ghouls.
Odds of your success are contact broken. Violence can increase the rate to defeat your largest
Just won't die. Well, they overloaded my machine gun pretty quick. This place needs somebody to defend it. So all the people who came with this place are farmers. They all work the farm. There's nobody that doesn't have a job. So until I get some new people in here, then I can start assigning people to other tasks. Great. Stupid ghouls. Horrible timing. Middle of my tour. Anyway, so I'm going to have to build some kind of house or building out here, barracks for the people. Obviously, the wall is going to have to do a little more improving, but, you know, you got to have room for the caravans to come in, so I can't, you know, it's not going to be, it's always going to have some weak points. Okay, so Warwick is also going in. Spectacle Island to Warwick to Vault 88, which is right there. It's another interior location, though. I don't know how the trading's going to work with this. I have just scratched the surface. I'm not going to give a tour of Vault 88 because it's just miles and miles of underground nothingness. And oh my God, people are pouring in. When I left this place, I only had 4 people.
I'll do well.
Oh.
Promise.
I figured the last thing I
Okay,
could worry
well,
about in the
it
vault
looks
was
like I've
finding
got
a place
people to
sleep.
do stuff with now, finally.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh well, that's my problem. Not for airing now. From Vault 88, we go to Jamaica Plain, which is also where we come in from the other direction. So, Jamaica Plain is another crossroads, which is good because I already have it built up.
Exciting. I wonder if the exhibit Treasures of the Jamaica Plain is still open.
A lot of people really rip this location from what I looked at online, but I try to make the best of it. Yes, it sucks. It wouldn't if it was just a little bigger plot. There's water right here. I mean, it's swampy, crappy water. But if the buildable area crossed over into the water, boom, that would solve a lot of your problems because now you don't have to rely on other water sources, but it doesn't. Also, if it extended past this little inclined area, if all of this out to the road was a part of the building area, that would solve about 50% of the problems with this location because look at all this ground here. This would be perfect gardening ground. Flat area here. You get rid of the baby things and this little the bus thing. This is a nice little flat area. We don't have access to it. You know what you do have access to? This big block of a house that you cannot get inside and you can't delete. That is a big reason why people don't like this location, is because you're stuck with this big non-destructible building. And I get that. But you do get this nice little parking lot area over here, of which I have not built on, but it is available to be built. It's fairly flat. It's not going to require a lot of elevated structure foundations and stuff, but I'm currently just using it as my water source. So I have my water purifier and power generators, basically. Every little garden spot available, I put in some plants because you can't grow it on the concrete. You can grow it in the little piles of debris. Gardening sucks on this location. The building, okay. So you got a more or less intact two-story building that works fine, and it's adjacent building which you have access to the bottom of, which completely half of its ceiling is blown off, which acts as the floor for the floor above it. It kind of sucks. It's not the best. Oh yeah, I didn't do that. Let's. Oh, I'm not inside. There we are. The buildable location. See, look at this. Look at this. Why did they cut it off here? Why didn't they just extend it down to the swamp area? You got this nice little park area here, which we can't utilize. We got the water, can't utilize. We're stuck. Just absolutely infuriating. So I get it. I understand why people don't like this location, but I tried to make the most of what I could. Gardens here, gun turret. This is the natural corridor for trades, so I put in my trading little outpost thingies here. The salvage stations, I got a bunch of them because I had a bunch of people here that weren't doing anything. Now I'm going to have them do trading, so I need to reconvert them. I put the trough there, a bunch of seating for the guards of the caravan. I already showed I didn't have anything up here. So inside the house, actually before I do this, let's go into the blown out building. So in order to fix the blown out ceiling, I put in some foundations over here. As you can see, the wooden floor foundations, which gives it, at least visually speaking, it gives it structure. And then I, replaced the roof where it needed to. That was built in. I think this was built in too, unless I don't think I added that. But I put in some beds down here. Again, ground floor beds work better than the ones in the upper floors. The house itself, instead of putting beds down here, I put in the stores. So I got the bar, clothing in general, and then I got the clinic over here. People will come back and they'll just stand here and they'll, it's good sales as long as they go in the right order. Then we got the stupid narrow staircase from hell. Bunch of beds in here. This is fine. This is perfect. We got a complete ceiling, as you can see. So all of this is intact. Blown hole in the side. This is all built in. And this is, as you can see, this is all that was left of the roof or the floor of the next building. And the wall, obviously, is gone, and there's no ceiling. So there's only so much you can do with this space. I built off of this space and put an outpost up here. And with the other part, I put stairs down because this is how high up the foundations went. It wasn't too bad. I put in a fencing. I put in some of my workstations and another outpost overlooking the caravan crossroads. And I built a staircase that goes up above the existing house because it had a flat roof. The flat roof is great because that gives you options. So I tried to square up as good as I could the floors, and I built up. And then in addition to building up, which is essentially what this is right up against the edge of what the roof is, I built the extensions out. So when you look at this from the below, it has it overhangs. So I actually turned into quite a lot of space out here. And then the rooftop, which I haven't finished yet. I'm not going to be able to put any more beds up here. It's going to get a little too crazy as it is. But it's got a nice overview. I could turn this into my own bedroom. In that big, stupid house that you can't do anything with. This is kind of where I wish they had a cellular system with the base building. I wish that they started you off with a little cell, a little plot that you can build. And if you acquire enough, clout or whatever resources you utilize in the game, if you want to expand and buy the neighborhood, the next adjoining cell, and add it to what you have, then you could do it. It would be so nice to have something like that, because then you could just add the waterfront. You could add this little elevated area to your base. And even if it costs you a lot of resources to do it, it'd be so worth it. And it would make it a lot more integrated. And conversely, if your cell becomes bigger, it means you're going to get more notoriety, and all of a sudden you're going to get attacked by super mutants more often, or you're going to get, if you make it too big, you're going to get the notice of the Enclave or the Brotherhood of Steel or whatever else is out there, the major factions. Anyway, that was my thoughts of what they should do with the game. Obviously, they'll come up with their own way of, facilitating stuff. You do have access to this whole back area, because I put an outpost up here. You don't have access to that building. Be nice, because it's another blown out building. You could, remove the rubble and at least utilize it for something, rather than this big block of nothing. Be nice to be able to purchase, this plot, this cell. Would include this wrecked house as well as the church, but nope, that's outside of your building area. I think I did an okay job with what I have so far. I could definitely put in some big building here, but right now I'm happy with the building I got. It looks like a big mushroom, but it works. Okay, so from Jamaica Plains, whether you're coming from Vault 88 or Castle, we go to Egret Tours, which is where this tour is going to go next. I really like the Egret Tours. This was the first place I started building up after Sanctuary Hills. It was the first one that I felt like it had a potential, because it had the built-in block of buildings there. Even though you don't have access to most of it, you only have access to one building's 2 floors. If you had access to these other buildings, it would really be a good location. You got this big boathouse with a non-working garage door and this big parking lot in front of it, which I recently put a fence up to defend against. And that fence came out pretty nice. A little elevated part there. Again, I kind of utilized partial walls and partially fences, but it worked okay. Until you get to over here where it's up on the hillside. This is where stupid critters are run around and get everybody out of their panties in a bunch, and they all decide they want to go at 30 people running across the field chasing one of those stupid 2-headed stags. So I had to build some kind of an elevated area up there, because this is my garden. Outside, this is the outside garden, and then there's the inside garden, the garden that's within the fences. This is where all the living stuff gets grown, because they're just, again, this is all concrete out here. You can't do much with it. I haven't really added anything to these other outbuildings.
I'm just so hungry all the time.
I guess I did put a weapons store there.
People have been complaining a bit about the
This is one thing I like, because this goes down into the water, because it's a boat thing. It's like a boat dock, boat repairs and stuff. It would come up and it would have a crane and it would pull it up. I put the big, water purifier there, and I put the power for it inside, so it's like secured. So that worked out kind of nice. The office space, nothing. I deleted some things in here, but otherwise I haven't utilized the space any. I could put some beds or something in here, I guess, if I needed to. And this building is, again, completely not being used. I can't get rid of these things. But a lot of space. There's a lot of space in here. If I could only use it for something. The worst part is connecting it all up. So, one of the things I decided to do is I wanted to build one of these big steel buildings, and I thought that worked out okay. I got a gate here. So I got a lot of beds in here. Around the side. And at one time I had a staircase there. I was trying to get it so I could get a staircase from the inside, up the side, into this over area, which has got a nice little overlook. But it would have basically like a nice master bedroom feel. I could really decorate this and make it look neat. And I have walls up here and everything, and I had it all built up, but I'm still having problems getting the stairs up. I think part of it's that it's got this pole, which I can't delete. I can get a staircase up here, but I can't get it. What I can't get is the staircase to start here. I can get it to start here, but then it plops it all the way out, and I don't want it to go all the way out to the side. I can put it up here, but then it doesn't go where I want it to go. It's really hard to get things to line up at times, and that's one of my big issues with that. Now, let's look at what I did to the blown out building. There's my store and the bar, and of course I got the bar, you know, the little tables out here, the workout areas. I think I threw in some sleeping bags in the little cafe out here, but otherwise it's not being used for anything. It's not like you can repurpose it. I can't delete the stuff that's in there, so it's just I'll use it for something. Threw a couple sleeping bags. This building, I am on my second or third attempt to remodel it. I finally got it where I wanted it upstairs, so I think I'm finally done with it. I really wish I could delete this giant part of the floor from above, the ceiling. I probably don't need that sleeping bag back there. I doubt that the AI can even route to there. Can't do anything with the workstation. It's stuck there. So, this floor isn't too bad. I tried to keep, again, some of the stock stuff, but I had a humongous hole in this portion. I finally was able to get it all covered and fixed. I even have a little, this is fine. I wish I could convert this into an outpost, but I can't. There's a hole over here that I couldn't get one of the floor tiles to fill, so I cheated. I got a carpet, threw it over the top. It looks like it's covering it, but actually there's nothing under this. Well, there is. It doesn't go straight through the lower floor, but it's recessed. It's not a floor. So it's kind of an illusion that there's a floor. Stairs go up. I need to put walls up here. Easier said than done. I finally got the whole thing covered with floors, and I'm thinking, oh, it's great. Started out working great. Problem is, these are barns, and there's no single wide space in the barn height buildings walls. So I'm probably going to have to get rid of the barn walls, replace them with normal steel and wooden walls. It's trial and error. I'm also going to have problems here because of that. It's going right up into the wall. I'm not going to be able to put a wall here. In some of these areas, it's going to have conflicts with these stupid pipe things. So despite the fact I have this nicely fit wall or floor that pretty much covers the entire roof of this thing, I might have to scrap it all and rebuild it until I can figure out a way I can get it so I can build walls over here. Because I can build a wall here, I just won't be able to build a wall over here, which probably means this whole thing's going to have to be offset by a good couple of feet, which is going to throw a whole, it's just going to be a whole thing, which is too bad because everything works really nicely from down here. I mean, you can see where the existing ceiling is gone. It was there, and then all of a sudden, so I did a pretty good job of replacing that. I'll put some steel beams in here to make it look like it's all supported too, because this looks bad hanging in space, but yeah, it's a work in progress. I need to invest some time and energy here to fix that up, but otherwise that's pretty good. Egret Tours. Markwater. Oh yes, Egret Tours. A lot of stuff comes to Egret Tours. Egret Tours is basically my Starlight Hotel or Starlight Drive-In in the south, because this is kind of the central focus of where everything is going to get funneled to. From Egret Tours, it's going to go up to Oberlin Station and then to Grey Garden, which will probably be the last two places we visit. Because now I got to go to Merkwater, which is down here. Merkwater is going to send its trade route to Vault 88 because it's nearby, but it's also going to have one going to Egret Tours. So it's going to have two different paths going from it. Murkwater. Murkwater's almost, it's just right in the middle of a damn swamp. It's got so much, it might be one of the most,
Master, I have news.
I'm busy right now.
Of course, but we must talk
I'll
soon.
deal with this later after I record. It might be one of the worst locations to try to build a base because you are literally in a friggin' swamp. It had very little going for it. It's got a big blown out building, garage, and that's about it. It literally has nothing going for it. Worse off than that is I killed this giant Mirelurk queen and its body is stuck here and I can't do anything about it. But I had to continue the storyline stuff and it's just frozen here. The despawning stuff really irritates me. So I tried to do my best. I built a big structure, which I'm happy with. I'll get to that a little later. One of the last things I did was I built myself an area that I'm going to put my stores. So as you can see, the general store is here. I'm going to put the other ones next to it in this nice little shed, so they won't have to worry about the rain. I have the bar here. I don't know if it'll go in there or not. I might leave it where it is. Trade location there. The cooking station. Wherever I could, I tried to throw in some gardening area because this thing has precious little land. A lot of water. Got a great place for water. Got my water purifiers going, churning away. Another outpost. We've already been attacked by Mirelurks once, so I know that they're going to spawn out here eventually within the week. The building structure that was here was lousy. There was just one wrecked building. That's in there.
Easy living. This ain't.
No roof, no nothing. Not even 4 full walls. Basically, every wall was completely damaged with no ceiling and very little floor space that was flat enough to use for anything. I mean, I managed to get a couple of beds in here, but that's about it. I decided I needed to build off of it and build some structures that made sense. So I built what was over there, and originally I had it going through this junked area, but it just looked bad. So I decided to block it off and create in a different access point. So now this is just a wasted space, but that's fine. It's only one little square. Everything else I built off of, or built around this existing space. Before I get to that, let's go back out to the main part of the garden is over here. All garden, no real wall. We just got a couple of little outposts. That's it.
Never changes.
The swamp, outposts, and the garden.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is the back building. Beds. Goes into the destroyed house. A few more beds. And then I have one of my little boxcar rooms with a few beds in it. I could turn it into a lounge. I don't know. I could move the beds out of there. I could move the couch out of there. I don't know. But that's just what's in that area. But it doesn't connect up to the rest of the building. I wish it could, but it just didn't work out. This is the main floor of the main building. Mostly it's just beds. Again, at some point I'm going to make this so it's decorated. But for now, it's just basically functional. I put in a few chairs and a table, but essentially it's just beds and space for beds. There is that little room that we just came out of, the little steel room. I could flip it around if I wanted, but I like that door where it is, so I wanted to leave it there. Another door on this side, which can, because these things don't really work well for doors, I kind of manufactured that. It works out fine. This little thing is kind of chunky, but it works. Fits in there. The power armor station. What are we at for people here? 17. I gotta turn this back on. So all my workstations are basically in and around this wrecked shell of a garage. Outside, though, I built a fence down below for the waterfront and a nice little walled area. So now I got guns up here, outpost. Works kind of nice, and it goes right into that wrecked house again. And technically, I could go on top of the roof if I wanted to, but I don't really need the extra floor, and it was a pain in the butt getting this roofed to begin with, and I don't want to have to scrap it just to put in an extra floor. So I decided to leave it where it is. I have just enough beds. I have some space for a few more if I need to,
Humanity has fallen so
but it's a very small plot, and a lot of it is consumed by this watery area, which you can't do anything with. You can build over the top of it, I suppose. I just haven't gone that far yet. The mangroves and stuff, whatever these are, dead. It started off with one person, and I got 17 people trying to live in this swamp. Okay, so the other path for the Murkwater, besides going to the Vault 88, is going up to Egret. The last place that's on the fringe is Somerville, with the little family that lives here. This is one of the places that I spent the most energy building up a whole fort. The last two locations we're going to visit both share that in common. This place has a big hillside. It doesn't really even have a road. Your buildable location, actually that goes down quite a ways, but this is all on a hillside. So there's only so much you can do with this. It's really rotten. The only part that's decent, there's already got a house on it, and the house is mostly blown off. Their garden area was already part of it, and it has a fence around it. My workstation areas are over here. Trade thing. The built-in campfire, and I put in the little trough there. Inside the house, the family that lives here pretty much converted this into their bedroom area, and this is their like living room area, and I put an extra bed there. But otherwise, that's it. There's no stairs or anything going to the upstairs, even though there's kind of an attic area. Originally, I tried to build a staircase going up here because there's a gap there, and I just couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get a floor up there to work where I could get the staircase to... The stairs were either too short. They just didn't line up very well. I'll turn that back on. So I decided to build around it. Doghouse for the dog. From over here, I built a door into the elevated foundation. Right now, there's no beds in here, but because I haven't figured out exactly where my living space is going to be. I'm having a conflict here. I can't build a wall because it's interfering with the side of the house. So that's fine. If I use this as a storefront, that's fine. So I got the general store and a clinic here, and I'll probably put some of the other ones in here as well. But over here, this is all, again, I can't build the walls all the way up. So again, it's sort of exposed, but I might put some beds over there. Second floor, haven't built the roof yet, but once I got I build the floors first, then I get the walls in. Once I get the walls in, I look at the roofs, and things are working out okay. Things are working out okay on the second floor. I built the entire first floor. All it was a platform on top, as you can see over there. It was just a platform wall of foundation pieces, basically. It just wraps around the garden. See? Not sure how much sunshine is given down there with all these walls built around it, but it actually works defensively. It makes a lot of sense. And as you can see, they're all beds. It's all about trying to find a space for you to put a staircase. Boom. And then there's the second floor. Obviously, I haven't finished this section yet. A lot of decisions need to be made. You know, do you want to build, out one of these little out-jutting things, or do you want to just have walls? I mean, I really don't want to build over the top of my garden. But you can tell there's a lot of space. There is a lot of space. Now this is my attempt to try to get back on top of the existing roof of the building. And this worked out okay. I was able to cover up the big gaping hole on top of that whole area. But I can't build any walls up. So I just don't know if I'll just leave it the way it is. What I should do is put like the gym equipment up here. I don't know. As you can see, there's still some holes I couldn't fix. But I like the fact that I was able to connect it up with the staircase because I couldn't do anything with that extra space anyway. And again, here's another example of my sliding door fix. So this covers 2 squares. I used the little single square wall piece to kind of cover up part of it so it doesn't look quite, it looks like it's being held in place because of that. So I kind of like that. I think I did a pretty good job. It's a start. It's obviously not a final product, but I think I did a pretty good job of kind of fortifying this place. Most of the places I have don't have a fort, but this thing doesn't exactly have the square footage that some of the other farms have. And as you can tell, this big slanted side doesn't do me any favors. And all this extra space up here I could build if it wasn't so dang, slanted. There's only so much you can do. You have to build out, and it would have big foundations with the tower. I mean, I don't know. My intent is to put fencing underneath and around. So this thing's going to look much more fortified when I'm done. It's going to have all sorts of that metal fencing and stuff underneath here.
The influx of data is
But
hard to
anyway.
process. Apologies if sometimes I make little sense.
So from here, Somerville Places also sends it over to Egret Tours, which you probably have to cross the bridge. From Egret Tours, it goes up to Oberlin Station. I believe that everything goes to Oberlin from here. Oh, we didn't do Hangman's. I should probably go to Hangman's too. Hangman's Alley. The only way in and out of there is along the water. There's a quick trip right from Hangman. I can actually run from Hangman's to Oberlin pretty easily. I'll show you what I did with Hangman's. Oh, shoot, I left my power armor. That's all right, I'll go get it later. This is taking a lot longer. This video is going to be extra long. The last one I did, I only visited a handful of locations, but I've done so much more work. Nothing on this side. I put the guns there, but so far they haven't been needed. Most of the buildings on the ground floor of this place I can't do anything with. They were pre-built, so I'm just kind of stuck with them. I threw in some beds where I could. I threw in garden spaces and some of the litter where I could. And then back here is most of the rest of it. Like any of these are going to get enough sunshine to do very well, but hey, garden where you can. So I built this. I decided I needed to build upward, so I built some where I could to build over the top of everything. And I wanted to build some kind of an overhang for this back fence, because the back fence was largely undefended and I hated it. So, but there's a staircase over here. So I built foundations up, which worked really well. I didn't want to remove all the little debris that was down here and the partial wall that was here, because I liked them, but I guess I had to because I needed the extra space for the foundation pieces, and since the game allowed me to build these right into the walls, I took advantage of it. Overlook, outpost. Nice coverage of the alley. We've yet to be attacked from this side though, so. And down. People. For now, that's fine. I don't really want 20 people in this location because I'm having a hard enough time finding bed space for the ones I have. I did have a staircase going from here down to there, but I decided it made more sense to do it from over here because it could actually connect up and wouldn't have to cover up this space where the wire is going through. So all of this is built over the top of the existing stuff. I forgot it does that. Fall through the crack. The sounds of gunfire. Unfortunately, I can't build the floors over this any farther. So, and I don't know how I'm going to wall it in. So I'm at this crossroads where I don't really know what I'm going to do, because I have sort of got access to this, but it's not level and it's got holes in it, and I have some clipping areas that are a problem. So I'm going to try to put some walls up. I guess I could build another set of stairs and try to build even higher up, but for now I guess this is good enough. This is not a big major trade source or trade center for me. It's not far away from Diamond City, so I can go there when I'm here. But as far as the people here go, this is basically just a basic. They're going to leave here and go to Oberlin Station because it's literally running distance away. So out here in the alley, I put a bunch of. This is where all my attacks have come from. This is where I have the guns and my little trade outpost. I got guns where I can squeeze them in. So whatever comes in here, it's like a shooting gallery. Whoever's going to come here trading wise, that's where you got to come in and out, because this is, relatively speaking, it's pretty calm out here. And from out here, you hit the main road, and from the main road, it takes you out of town. And Oberlin Station is basically just up the hill. And from Egret Tours, it's basically straight north along the railroad. So it's like the railroad line is not far away from Egret Tours, and you take it. It basically just comes right up the hill over here and right into where my camp is. The base part of this place was basically just the existing building there, the little tower, and the garden. That was all that was here. And the fences, metal fences. So couldn't really build a whole lot, so I decided to build around it. And I love this little recessed area. So I put my little, caravan trade stop there. It gets really jammed up. I decided to utilize the railroad itself because there is no road here. This is the road. It's the railroad. So I have my big gate, guns, platform with a couple more outposts and more guns. And inside, I basically built around the garden very similarly to the way we did at the last location. But this one's going to go all the way around. Of course, I haven't built it up yet. I don't have the whole walls in, but you can see what I'm going to do. It's a choice between, do I want to put walls or do I want to use fences and have it overlook? I can do either one. So there's a lot of decisions to be made. Right now I'm using barns, so I have the extra tall walls. I can't build up walls in some areas. I can't get too close to the existing tower, so this came out all right. Put some fences in there, guard tower, not a guard tower, but a gun. And I was able to throw in a couple of extra staircases, so it makes accessibility-wise this nice. But I was also able to build around the tower. I won't be able to build walls here. It's too close. I can build something on the outside, but not the inside. But over here, I was also having some issues. I don't remember if I couldn't build walls. I don't remember. But I got some options. My number's here. Oh, we got 8 people. Jesus, turn this thing on. So that's pretty much all I could do with this place. As far as this goes. And I can also quickly get into here, and as you can tell, that's packed. On the back side, this just goes right down a big cliffside. I can build here, but what can I build on something that's this steep? So I just decided to pick the most flat area next to where the railroad line is, and I put in a fence. So now it's a nice defensive fence along that side, even though there's probably nothing that's going to attack me from that direction. Another outpost on this side, and the caravans continue across the road. Turns in pretty nice, just like the other location where I said I was going to put some fences. I'm going to do the same thing here. You notice this is a solid foundation with the wooden pillar foundation above it. That's to keep it from all these posts from floating. There's actually a couple of floating posts in here, but because of all the foliage, you can't really see. That's floating. That's floating. But I didn't want to rebuild it just for those two little floating posts. I thought the rest of these I put a solid base under it because they were floating and I hated it. I actually am going to run to the next location because it's right across the river. So any caravans that are coming from the south, whether they're coming from Somerville or they're coming from Hangman's Corner or they're coming from the swamp and Vault 88 or any of the ones from those eastern coasts, are going to have to pass through here. I don't know how the caravan's going to get across. They might have to go across the water. That would suck. The rail's where you want to be. Gotta get rid of that railroad car, and it's pretty much a straight bridge right to the next camp. I'll tell you one thing though, and this is unrealistic as hell, because there's no way in hell a railroad would have a grade that would shift from flat to that level of verticality. No way. This is way too steep. Anyway, to the robot farm. No humans live here, it's just robots. They run this whole Grey Garden establishment. They got their greenhouse. And the caravans that go north are going to come to here because there's a road. This thing goes right out. And there's another path that goes up there. But they both come out on the same little road that goes up the hill over here. And it goes up by the big power plant up there. So anything that's coming from the north is going to come over here, and anything coming from the south is going to come up on the other side. This is where the trade thing I decided to put. I don't know if I have one on the other side. I don't know. I have not built up yet. It is possible to build up and utilize the space up in the highway up there, because as you can see, this thing completely goes around this entire pillar. So I just haven't built up there yet. I haven't experimented. This is a low priority because this place is completely autonomous. It's run by these robots. I don't need to do anything. They don't need beds. They don't need really anything. Anything that decides to bother them, they pretty much cut them up, but I threw a couple of guns in just to help them out. Right now I haven't built anything other than throwing in guns and little trade things. I probably need to build a trade post over here somewhere, probably down there, and figure out how I'm going to build the elevator up, and that'll be that. And basically from Grey Garden goes to, to Starlight. So here's Grey Garden, and there's Starlight. So they'll just continue basically out to this road and up the highway, and it's just a quick jaunt right up there. So between everything kind of truncates from the south and the east, all flows towards Grey Garden. Well, with the exception of Bunker Hill. Anything that goes through Bunker Hill will also go directly up to Starlight. But that's how I got my trade network, and that's how I got my buildings built. So I'm going to stop it there. That covers all of the buildings and all of the different locations that I have actually developed. The few remaining settlement areas that I haven't covered are ones I haven't done anything with. So thanks for watching. Although I'm doing this largely for my own benefit to kind of mark my progress as a builder, this is where I'm at right now. Again, I'm on the 80th some level, so it's not like this is I just started playing the game, but this is where I'm at. I intend to be better. Once I am comfortable that all of my settlements are structurally where I want them, then it's about making them prettier and more decorative and going in and doing a lot more of the other stuff, and hopefully I'll get that far. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching.